What do you guys think of this, chat? You all let me know. So FTR Follow the Revolution is like, Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland's match at WXW 16 karat gold 9 years ago today. I think this maybe could be a sicko segment, but anyways. Will be remembered for the astonishing dance that erupted during the bout. Wrestling can be so fun. So it's here. Let's watch. Here's Swerve and Ospreay. Bro, back in the day. Okay, so I didn't actually see this until quite recently. So you all let me know in chat what you think about stuff like this. Rich Swan's like, you're all stealing my... He's like, I already did all this shit, fools. He goes, not a single woman in the building as they all clap and fawn over 2 men. I don't know, dude. I see some women right here, but I can't. Oh shit. Dancing with the Stars. Dancing for Meltzer Stars. Dancing with the Meltzer Stars, dude. Hilarious, bro. Hallelujah. Woo! Woo! So they start hitting the whip and the nay-nay and the... You guys into this or what? Was anyone here in the building? And then they start fighting. But then they actually start doing the house party dance. Oh my god, just the... and then just where like he's up the kick, like the sweep, the leg sweep. the chat. Oh my god. Kevin Nash. Oh, Diesel's in here. Yeah, I thought that was just cute. So Miro and CJ Perry renew their wedding vows after, you know, getting publicly separated. And then CJ Perry was in like TikToks with Damian Priest, and everyone was like, oh, and now they're renewing their vows. They're both, you know, dogs without bones right now, or they were dogs without bones. Now they're like dogs without homes, I guess, right? Because neither of them are in AEW, neither of them are in WWE. Neither company is really, I don't think, clamoring to get either of these two back because they both come with a hefty price tag as individuals. Yeah, I would go to TNA and I would just call myself Miroslav Rusev. I think his real name's Miroslav. I think, if I'm not wrong about that, Miro Rusev. Let me look up his real name really quick. Yeah, Miroslav Petrov Barnyashev. So I would just say I'm Miroslav Rusev, and I would go to TNA and I'd call Lana or Lana Rusev or just CJ Perry, whatever she wants to be called, but just call yourself Lana if WWE will let you. I guarantee that's one phone call away too. Oh, I don't know if I can use that name. Vince is gone. Just pick up the phone, call Triple H. You can just be Lana, or don't be Lana, be CJ Perry Rusev, whatever, just CJ Perry, whatever. You just come out looking hot and talk for him and just have him come out and go, oh, and just Bulgaria smash and win the title there. I think that would be awesome. Honestly. And then that door's open for a WWE return as well through that, you know, that pathway. But I don't even really, WWE's so bloated right now. Like, yeah, would I love Miro to come in and be like the reigning dominant US champion? Sure. Do we need that though? No. We don't need it. But I'm a huge Rusev fan. And I think if it was me, if I had all the monies, I'd be bringing Rusev back 100%. You know, you need guys to do jobs, but there's some people on the main roster where, even in WWE, where I'm like, yeah, Miro could take their spot 100%. But, and then you got to bring Lana in too, or like, you don't have to, but you know, she wants to. When she was in AEW, she kept tweeting at WWE people publicly, like, hey, this was all like, da 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 da, you know, and you could just tell she was uncertain there, and they both apparently thought they were getting some big push. That didn't happen, but good for them. Like, love will keep us together. Like they're just keeping the damn thing going. So shout them out. Maple Leaf Pro, they sold out back-to-back nights. This went down. Latimer took on Pestock. I didn't watch this whole event. I still haven't seen Evolve from this week. And I saw like the first 10 minutes. And I still didn't see TNA Sacrifice entirely. Now, we will talk about some TNA Sacrifice stuff, but I didn't catch it all entirely. Your boy is busy, okay? But yeah, make sure you guys are checking out Maple Leaf Pro. They're putting on great matches. This card is stacky, but you got Kylie Ray over here, Giselle Shaw, you got Tom Latimer and Bishop Dyer or Tom Pestock or Baron Corbin. You got Kushida, you got QT Marshall, I guess, right? And yeah, Serena D, Mike Bennett was on this thing. I mean, just something to check out if you're a wrestling fan, Indie wrestler arrested after stripping off and wielding a machete. So, of course, ringside. No, this is Cultaholic. Never mind. I was going to be like, of course, ringside news. So, Charlie Tiger is an independent wrestler who made his debut in 2016. The 24-year-old has now wrestled for the likes of CZW, JCW, etc. Hutton is his real name, I guess. Charlie Tiger. He was arrested on March 7 following an alleged incident on March 3rd at a Sheetz gas station in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. Hutton allegedly arrived at the gas station in his red Subaru and proceeded to take off his clothes and run around the parking lot, stabbing the ground with a machete. Hutton then stabbed a parked van with the machete and allegedly charged at bystanders and threatening men. Don't do meth, guys, okay? Meth you up, what? Don't do it, bro. So that's all this is. Dude took some pills or some meth and went absolutely crazy. And I hope this guy gets the help he needs. Here's him with his Subaru and his Tiger, really living the gimmick here, folks, right? And maybe he did it as a publicity stunt, so shows like this will talk about it. Yeah, what do you want, an attempted murder charge or something, dude? Like, dummy up. Okay, moving along here. So Maria Kanellis credits Melina, Beth, Jillian, Mickey, etc. You guys will hear it for taking care of her in the ring. And here's her and Mike Bennett on Adult Conversations podcast on YouTube. Here's their new podcast. And Bennett's still with AEW /ROH/ Maple Leaf Pro. He was on that card. But Maria, I'm not sure what she does, right? If I was her, I would try and, I know she seemingly burnt bridges, but yeah, I would just try and get that Legends deal so you're like a manager in the 2K games going forward or whatever, just call Triple H. That's all anybody can do. And obviously she doesn't want to jeopardize her husband's job either just by having a phone call, but because Lord only knows. However, yeah, that's what I would do if I was her. You could argue she's a great manager and you could use her in GM mode and all that. Just get the Legends deal signed, and you get in the games and you're part of the family, blah, blah, blah. Maria Kanellis, I don't remember if she's a former women's champion in WWE. Maybe Chad could correct me on that. I don't know. You don't need to be a world champ to be considered for the Hall of Fame either. So I know it seems like this year they're not overloading the Hall of Fame either. It seems like it's going to be 3 or 4 entries only. And WWE hasn't confirmed Earthquake and Typhoon yet, I don't think either. So we've covered it on the show. All the sheets are saying it's confirmed. And John Tenta Jr. says, that it's confirmed and blah, blah, blah. But we've never actually seen WWE. They're running ads too, where it's just Luger, Triple H, and Michelle McCool. Now, I think 5 is the way you induct, and then you do 5 or more. How WWE does the names, here's some people we induct into our legacy wing who may have not even wrestled in the WWF, but I'm okay with those inductions too. You could do 10 of those for all I give a. But as far as the main ones, I think 5 is a good way to do it, right? But then maybe they think that'll drag on too long or whatever. I don't know. I'm not saying induct Maria into the Hall of Fame either, right now or anything. I'm just saying you want to play that card. You might get inducted if you just are hey, what's up? And yeah, that would just be my advice if I had her ear. You know what I mean? Because she has contributed a lot to the industry, and I know people are oh, she burns bridges everywhere, but Triple H is the guy who will mend the fences and the bridges. So yeah, try and build that back up. You know what I mean?
Dangerous. best experience. Those girls took such good care of me. Beth and Melina and Jillian, Victoria, who should be in the Hall of Fame. I'm hoping she will be in the Hall of Fame soon. Those girls just like, they took care of us. And like and now Michelle McCool is going into the Hall of Fame, and she fought for the women to get more time. She fought for, to be able to do bigger moves. She fought for more exposure. She fought. And I'm so incredibly blessed that, I had such good people to work with. I'll say it again, because
do you wish you
just cuts him off? Yeah, shout that out. So the third match signed for Benefit for Dashing Chris Bay features Swerve Strickland taking on Kenny King, who just somehow like pops up, and when you think he's done wrestling or whatever, he just pops up and starts wrestling again. So I don't know, shout out Kenny King. And yeah, man, prayers up for Bay. And this card is really stacked. We have more news on this card too with WWE superstars. This show is really everyone in the business, TNA, AEW, GCW, Kenny King, WWE, they're all on this card. So I don't know. I'll be checking it out, definitely. So speaking of WWE talent going to the Indies, JC Jane headed to Reality of Wrestling. We're excited to announce the next special guest for Glory is none other than NXT superstar JC Jane. So they're launching their new show. We covered it. So the original ROW, Reality of Wrestling, Booker T blew it up. It got a TV deal. It's on TV now. So the YouTube show is being replaced by a whole new show called ROW Glory, right? Where they're sort of like relaunching a secondary roster and like its own storylines and characters, right? On to take the slot of the YouTube show. So that's a big move too, because the people who like the one show, you're hoping go over to TV, and then you're hoping this Glory show fulfills that itch that they had to watch that other YouTube show and lives up to what that show was. And so they're kicking it off with, NXT star JC Jane will be there, which is huge, right? It'll get eyeballs for them, and then they announced, NXT Level Up got scrapped. So now it's called ROW Up, and it's on YouTube as well. And that's a whole new show as well. That's like developmental for developmental. You guys know what I'm saying? So, yeah, NXT is more like a third brand in WWE. And now the developmental is like the indies and these reality shows and like that, right? Evolve. Like that's the developmental now, are like these YouTube shows. And so I was harping on it before. They need to move away. Like NXT just shouldn't be on TV. Some people are doing their best of their careers, right? Like what'll Tony D'Angelo do better on the main roster that he hasn't done in NXT already? The guy had his peak of his career, in my opinion, in NXT. Maybe you guys will say that's hater. I don't think that is. I think that's a testament to how good he and NXT is, like at the stage they're at. That's what I think. So, but either way, make sure you guys are watching ROW, right? A lot of people are like, dude, hop on the ROW train. And man, this is what I mean. Tony Khan would have found way more success just sticking with his YouTube shows. I'm telling you. Billy Starks is returning to GCW for the first time since July of last year, which is good, pal. Here's just a funny clip of the Brain and Gorilla on a boat, and this just cracked me up and made me laugh and smile. Just, I don't know. I'm sure that's awesome, man. I miss those two. I've been speculating I can hit an X-Files here for this next little bit of news here, chat. Let me hit up X-Files. Oh, and speaking of indie talent, I have a tremendous indie wrestler coming on Wednesday. We're going to record a pod, and then I'll announce it on the live show. But yeah, it's awesome. It's a really great guest. It's just going to be awesome. I can't wait. It's going to be so fun and funny. And we're going to roast Dave Meltzer. Okay. So go figure. And we have other indie wrestlers calling out Meltzer. But speaking of the indies here, MLP, Maple Leaf Pro, just looking great too. Great production. Looking like a cross between AEW and TNA a little bit, of course. That's what it is. With the Scott D'Amore presence and influence. And I've been speculating a bit with the X-Files that I hit a moment ago, which I guess is being rebooted by Disney, which I'm not looking forward to. Phil Marks out. Check out that YouTube channel where I talk about pop culture and stuff. But anyways, I've been saying, I think Billy Gunn, and he's featured in the 2K game for WWE, right? As part of the DLC. And he could have been this whole time. He's always had a Legends deal. A lot of these guys do. Like Flair, they could put him in the games. He's under contract with Tony Khan, as Flair exposed or revealed, rather. I think last week we covered it on the show, right? But Ric Flair is under contract with AEW, like Tony Khan pays him. So that's why they don't put him in the game. But he does have a Legends contract. Sting has, I believe, this whole time. Billy Gunn has this whole time. And so Billy Gunn appears. Now, this is an AEW partnership here with MLP, right? Maple Leaf Pro. But he hasn't been featured. The last time we saw the Guns, they made a return. Like, they made their triumphant return. And then they get beat, and then we haven't seen them since. Okay. And my whole thing was like, I don't know if their deals are up or anything. You got to think they've been there for many years, pretty much since the inception of AEW. Are they making their move to NXT or something? I don't know. Maybe this could be a sign of that, especially with sort of the DX green, because in AEW, they weren't really doing that. They weren't letting Billy Gunn like allude to the DX-ness of it, at least not to my recollection. Maybe someone could correct me on that. But yeah, I don't know. Let's just watch this clip. Shout out Maple Leaf Pro, and he appeared here. So I just think this further lends to what I've been saying of like, keep an eye on these Guns, dude. I think we'll see them back in WWE sooner or later. WWE Hall of Famer. Yeah, see, they announce him too, WWE Hall of Famer, which is fine. Like, MLP AEW have sort of like a TNA WWE deal. Like, WWE's not telling TNA what to do, maybe a bit when it involves their guys, right? Yeah, AEW's not like, oh, you got to say this about Billy Gunn. He works for us. But the fact that they do say WWE Hall of Famer, I don't know. There's no reference to AEW whatsoever, unless he's wearing like his Elite, because Billy Gunn would wear those like all Elite trunks. So I just found this very interesting and quite timely because of me harping on it. And then with the game too, I'm like, there you go, man. I think these, because this is the point I'm getting at. The Gun Boys need NXT. It's time. The tag division could use them. They could be the guys who get the straps off Fraxium if they came in. They know how to work TV. I think the Gun Boys would be amazing in the current climate of NXT right now. Not everybody. I don't think everybody, they're saying Abaddon's going to be released. Okay, I don't want to see her in NXT or anything. I'm not going to lie. But not even being a hater on Abaddon. Like, I'm not the biggest Abaddon hater. Some people go hard as fuck on her online. I don't know. She has a good character. If you hone that in, you could do something with her. Where she's like the spooky sidekick. She's like the Nikki Cross to the next level for someone. They could have did that with her. They don't, because they don't know what to do with anybody typically in AEW. But either way, though, sorry, let's watch this here. And he's hugging people like, I'm free. We're free. But he is wearing the scissors like daddy ass gear. So who knows? But that's all broken up, though, on AEW, too. And then Bowens is just gone. And Caster's a jobber.
And he's got 2 words for you. The WWE Hall of Famer getting a hero's welcome here at St. Clair.
So good to hear Morrow call wrestling, dude.
College, still looking as physically fit as ever. Proud of his sons in AEW, a former AEW Trios champion. Of course, went into the WWE Hall of Famer.
Yeah, they're saying in AEW, but they're not saying currently in AEW. He's just like, whatever with his sons in AEW where they won the AEW Trios. Like, okay, are they in AEW anymore? I don't know. But don't be shocked if the dirt sheets miss a lot of these releases and contracts coming up like they've been.
I don't know.
Anyways. WCW Nitro book, an excerpt from the upcoming book Beyond Nitro by Guy Evans. So Guy Evans says an internal TBS document from December 2000 reveals the convoluted nature of such transfers. While recognizing a receivable in the amount of $2.2 million for international syndication owed to WCW from a division of Time Warner, WCW simultaneously owed a different Time Warner division $1.9 million for its domestic home video services. It was also obligated to pay Telepictures, a unit of Warner Brothers, and therefore Time Warner, an additional additional amount of $123,000 for domestic TV distribution over an unclear time frame. A further payment of $900,000 was scheduled to be transferred from WCW to Turner Entertainment Networks for an unlabeled purpose. Similarly, more than $913,000 was earmarked as a payable from WCW and to a compendium of other companies, including CNN Admin, CNN Interactive, and of course, the ever-present others. So this is what we need to point out here, okay? This is what needs to be highlighted. Like, they were set to get a payment, a receivable of $2.2 million for their international syndication that was owed to them from Time Warner, while at the same time owing $1.9 million to Time Warner. Do you guys understand how the television, the entertainment, just all this stuff, all this fat cat entertainment world stuff? Just imagine the deal, just imagine the private deal that AEW has cooked up as well to bring it to modern times. Like, it's all private. Just imagine, like, what kind of kooky they have going on behind the scenes, too. And I've been saying that since day one. We're not sitting here saying they're not making, for any sickos out there, oh, he's just hating on 8. No, this isn't even hate. I'm just pointing out. Think about it. What kind of kooky is going on there, too? And why we're like, why the do they get 156? We don't even know. Tony might have to pay that back. $3.6 million a week, Brian. Tony might have to pay that back for all. We don't even know. We have no clue. That could be his own money for all we literally know. Tony spending $100 million in a year? That's like nothing, dude. That's nothing, man. Yeah, I just want to point that out. I thought that excerpt was cool, and I guess plugging the book as well. Guy Evans writing the untold stories. This is what I'm interested in. The untold stories, dude. That's what I'm interested in. We always hear about the same. If I got to hear about the Montreal Screwjob or finger poke of doom one more time, I might bust a nut. So our last bit of miscellaneous news, a fan lashes out at Hulk Hogan for not signing children's stuff at his meet and greet. Police almost took him out. Holy.
Be a man, Hogan. Sign something for the kids. Be a man, Hogan. Sign it for the kids. Be a man, Hogan. Sign stuff for the kids. Come on. What? Well, it's true. Just sign stuff for the kids, man. It's not right.
Just sign stuff for the kids, dude.
Hey, we wait 2.5 hours. Yeah, beer. I waited 2.5 hours yesterday. 2.5 hours. He was late. 5 hours in line. You know, it's true. That's what happened.
So why won't he sign for kids? Like, if this is a beer signing for his new beer, then I absolutely get why he's like, no, brother, I'm not gonna. Well, let me tell you something, dude. I can't sign children. I can't sign children's stuff at a beer signing, Jack. I'll slam that stinky giant later in the parking lot for $5. You guys know what I mean? Like, you can't blame Hulkster for this one if he's doing a beer signing. Now, if it's just a random signing and he's like, them kids, Jack, them kids, brother, then okay, I get it. However, if this is his beer thing, you can't, be taking pictures in front of beer banners with children and stuff. Or like you could, I get, you know what I mean? Yeah, kids at a UFC event or something, okay, the parents' discretion. But I mean, if I don't know, there's got to be laws around that. No, I'm sure it's different in Canada. Liquor laws are all crazy all over the place, depending what province you go to. I don't know if it's state by state as well, where the laws change and stuff like that. But like, for instance, in America, the drinking age is 21. In Canada, it's like state by state. It could be 18 or 19, depending what province you're in, state by state, province by province, right? So yeah, either way, I don't know the legality or the technicality behind it, but this guy's like, come on, man. And then they have like caution tape, and these cops are like, he's like, dude, I'll send I'll send Brutus the Barber Beefcake on you, Jack. The Nasty Boys, hit him with a chair, dude. I don't want to deal with this brother.
I'm glad he is. Yeah, the kids. Glad he is for the kids. Yesterday, I waited for him at the Hudson Valley. Never got. Are you in line right now? No. I already waited 5 hours. I didn't come back. I wanted to make sure that people didn't waste their time today.
He was upset about that yesterday. That they were telling him not to sign for the kids, and so today he's like.
I've been waiting 15 years for him to come to the Hudson Valley to sign my figure. 15 years. Yeah. That's all I wanted. I would have paid him $300-400 to sign it. Yeah, I would have paid for it, and I didn't get it. And you know what? I made an Instagram post, and I'm not a Hulkamaniac anymore. I'm glad he has it on.
Hulkamania's dead. It's dead. You turn your backs on me, dudes. You all turn your backs on me. Oh, man. And now I've started the NWO, brothers.
On camera,
NWO beer coming soon, Jack.
I'm very disappointed. This is Hulk's second chance. And they want to blame it on the promoter, blame it on Hulk. Make it right. Make it right.
Make it right, Hogan. Make it right. Okay, that was a round of applause for miscellaneous news or light news, whatever, because TNA is its own thing today. So round of applause. Alex Hammerstone returned to TNA after saying, "Hey guys, I'm a free agent." By the way, he returns and challenges Joe Hendry for the TNA Championship, and this is his final match. So he announced, like, "Hey, dude, I'm done." But I guess he just had his last match, and they were cool with him announcing it. Hopefully, like, he was on NXT. Hopefully they pick his ass up, right? He could even be a main roster dude right away. If it was me, I'd be trying to build a new faction on the main roster with guys like Hammerstone, Page, and like another guy or something. You know what I mean? Like Ethan Page. Right? We're trying to build a faction of new, young, up-and-coming, credible threats who, like, as individuals could possibly get over on their own. You don't even got to stick them with a vet. Like, just 3 credible dudes who, like, have like resumes outside of WWE and NXT now that they're sort of flaunting and touting that on their programming, and just guys who just look the part, look legit, and like Ethan Page could lead them. Right, because he established himself in NXT a bit. He showed up on SmackDown, I think, once or whatever backstage. So you have Ethan Page lead a crew, Alex Hammerstone, and then chat. You guys let me know who should be the third and fourth men if we're going to do it that way, right? Like in a faction, they just go right up to the main roster. They're just healing on everyone. I think that'd be awesome. And they need that. They need a lot of these factions we've been dealing with for a long time, no? And then they scrap some of them, and yeah, I don't know. We'll get to WWE in a bit, but yeah, here's Alex Hammerstone. He came back. Shocked everyone, I guess, because he's like, I'm done, but then he just shows up to take on Hendry. So there you go. Here was Sacrifice, my sacrifice. Here's Joe Hendry giving an update about his video game status because he was not featured in 2K, or so we thought.
Joe Hendry is going to be in a video game. You may remember I was talking about which games I could appear in. Well, guess what? Multiple video game developers have got in touch, and we're just about ready to make an announcement. But before we do, we want to know which games you want to see Joe Hendry in. Say his name, and he might just appear. Announcement coming soon.
Yeah, so he'll probably be in that Retro Mania or whatever that, just whatever games they can add him in. But also, guys, they do things like the Bad Bunny DLC. Oh, we just added the Bray Wyatt out of nowhere. We just added him, his like newer model, and you got to buy him. Now, I'm not saying they do that with Hendry. How cringe is it that Swerve's like stealing Cody Rhodes's burst eardrum thing? Do you think that's what this is? It's cringe, man. Anyways, I don't even know what I was talking about because it's like they just always seem like they're doing what other people are doing or have already done, or like what the sheets are talking about or something. Stop, come on. Yeah, I don't know. We talked about that. So Tessa Blanchard, okay? I don't care what anybody, a lot of people are like, oh man, if Tessa Blanchard triggers you, you're the problem. All that you're allowed to be triggered by. This is wrestling. The objective is trigger people, right? And either trigger happiness or anger and get them to want to see me fight, either win or lose. Here's the thing, right? Well, let me play you guys this stuff and you let me know. I just want to approach this the correct way, right? Some people think this is TNA leaning into like her racialist past, but here's the thing. She was racialist towards black people and to other women. I don't think she was racialist towards she's wearing the Mexican flag colors, so Mexican people or Latinos or anything. I think she married a Latino. No? A Mexican man, a Spanish man. No? Am I wrong about that? You guys got to understand, like, it's not them leaning into it. For instance, when they were chanting like she's a racist. Sorry, we're on YouTube. I don't know what they like and don't like these days, but they've been pretty chill lately, not gonna lie, but she's a racialist. They like cut her off by sending Morella out there to save her ass. The most they say is like, yo, listen, there's controversy outside of the ring, but inside the ring, we focus on what goes on inside the ring. I don't know if that's leaning into like, hey, I'll culturally appropriate what some people are saying. Now, I don't even care about that. I don't even give a shit about any of that, right? What I care, there's white dudes who act black all day and no one says, right? So I'm not even talking about that. What I'm saying is, this is just cringe overall. Like, who didn't tell her, bro? Now it gets her heat. We're all talking about it. We're all cringing about it. A lot of people are like, oh, people who don't like this, or they just don't get. No, it's not that, bro. Okay. Or at least don't lump me in there. This is just, when I saw this, I douche chill cringed like out of my skin. The entrance, this promo she cut is whatever that I'm going to play first. Okay. Chat, you guys let me know how you feel about this. I just douche chilled like out of my skin when I saw this. Maybe that's the point. Here we go. It's just okay. Am I off on this? Like, Rhea Ripley dates Dom. She's like, mommy, I'm mommy. And then like she's a Latina all of a sudden. And then Charlotte Flair comes back and she's married to Andrade and she's like, I have real Latino heat. Orale. And then now Tessa Blanchard's married to a luchador, whatever. Now she's doing this. It's like, what the am I off on that, ladies? What are you doing? Okay. Oh man, here we go.
Tonight, TNA Wrestling is in El Paso, Texas for Sacrifice.
So I guess you have, but here's the thing. If you're the heel, why are you leaning into the, maybe it is trying to piss. I don't know. It seems like this would be the baby face thing to do. Like, hey, I speak Spanish and I'm going to hold it down for, you know, like my kids are, what did Conan say the one time on to Tully Blanchard? Like, your kids are going to speak Spanish one day or whatever. Right. And I don't know if she's even married to the guy. So I actually don't even know. I'm just talking about who her husband was the last time. People were like, she married a Spanish dude or whatever. I don't know. You guys will inform me in the chat. But either way, just watch this. I'm babbling enough about it. And I'm trying to tiptoe around here. Right? So yeah.
Tonight, TNA Wrestling is in El Paso, Texas for Sacrifice. And I have a little message for Lei Ying Lee. El diamante innegable de la lucha libre está aquí. Y esta noche voy a romper tu madre.
It's like, I don't give a like that's, I was like, okay, that's sweet. Because, you know, in UFC, people do that too. You speak multiple languages, say what's up in another language. That's cool. People pop for that. You know, it's like the cheap pop. But at the same time, you're the heel that everyone hates. So why are you trying to like, I don't know. I think this is what everyone's missing, right? Because your boy Phil likes to psychoanalyze it. I think she was trying to like garner favor back with people by doing this. And it just sort of backfired. That's what I think. I don't think this is her leaning into like, get more heat on me. I think this was her trying to get heat off of her, and it backfired. That's my opinion, because it seems very much like, well, you would do this if you were the baby face. No, I don't know. That was what it was. So I see that. I'm like, whatever, right? And then the entrance just sent me, man. And she's got like gold teeth in, man. Right. And that's cool. I mean, but I don't think she's ever done that before. It's just like, I don't know. Let's watch it. Oh, man. The whole entrance is up there. I don't know why I bookmarked this. I thought I bookmarked the full entrance, but oh man, I was cringing. I don't know, Jay. You guys let me know what you think about that. She lived in Mexico for a long time and spent a lot of time in SA. That being said, I'm Mexican and biased because I have met her multiple times and she's always been good to me. She was married to Daga. There you go. I knew she lived in Texas. I knew she lived in Mexico. I knew she was married to a luchador. And I don't know if they had kids or not. I know she disappeared for a while. She was allowed to work in Mexico. You know, so is Alberto El Patron and other people. So that's all right. The thing is that a lot of people have said like she apologized to others privately and stuff. So if that's the case, then that's up for the people, Now, when I see wrestlers come out and be like, no, she's still a piece of, obviously there's fences that need to be mended there with other people that she never clearly reached out to privately, or maybe they do want a public thing and that never happened either. I'm not sure. So I don't even really speculate on it beyond what the public says. And if wrestlers are jumping in, like, nah, usually even the wrestlers, if they don't like someone, they keep their mouth shut. You know, I like her on TV. She's a great wrestler. I was told and allegedly that, you know what I mean?
Allegedly.
She legitimately is there on a trial run for WWE. Like, they wanted to see if she could stay out of trouble and how people would react to her and if this would blow over. And then she could go to WWE from here with TNA. That sort of would make sense, but also TNA needs someone as well, right? So it's not just like that would be the only reason. Like, I could see TNA just being like, no, that's okay. Yeah, anyways. So Cora Jade saying this because she was forced to tag with Tessa Blanchard. So more commentary on Tessa Blanchard from Cora Jade, the wrestlers themselves. Cora's like, I'm just here so I won't get fined. You know, so it is the wrestlers too. The point I was going to make before, I remember now. Wrestlers don't typically, like, even if they don't like someone, they don't publicly like on them. They just still keep it behind the scenes for the most part, especially WWE talent. So when you keep seeing like Chelsea Green and Cora Jade and people being like, nah, you know, that makes me go, there might be a little bit more to it than we're not seeing behind the scenes. Like, maybe she really hasn't owned up to it the way fans hope or whatever. But either way, I'm not trying to bury Tessa either. Moving along. So AJ Francis gets into it with, who is this? Body Slam. Did they delete it? God damn it. Yeah, it was bodyslam.net. Man, they deleted it. So they said something about they're like having an actual racialist in Tessa Blanchard. I remember. Okay, I'm gonna verbatim, or not verbatim, but paraphrase what the headline was. Body Slam was like, if you're gonna have a literal racialist on the show, dress up like a Latino person, and then have AJ Francis tell a Mexican talent to go back where they came from or something like this, right? I have to watch the whole goddamn event. If you guys can tell, I didn't see Sacrifice in full yet. So AJ Francis, I guess, was like, go back where you came from or something to like, I'm going to guess and say Laredo Kid or so. I don't know. But yeah, AJ Francis was like, it was their idea in El Paso. Stop. And then they're like, in El Paso, that's so whatever. And then AJ just, you know, pulling the curtain back and being like, well, it was their idea for me to say it in El Paso. Stop being sensitive. And then Seabass is like, you don't have to agree to every idea. They're just saying. This guy's like, you don't have to be sensitive, just saying. So AJ responded to him. So I don't think it's like wrong if we're acting here like, okay, is Edward Norton a racialist, or did he do something wrong because he was in American History X? No. Is Leonardo DiCaprio wrong because he was in Django? No. You know what I mean? You do what you do, and it's art. And I'm not saying you like, this is also a family show, but it's trying to evoke emotion. And everybody likes to on JBL in hindsight for the work he did with Eddie. But at the time, man, he had nuclear heat, and he was like, didn't he like throw a guy over the border or something? He like went to the border, and JBL crossed the line so much. That was the point. That's how you get heat. And it wasn't, he didn't go full blown racialist. But what he did was he gave something that the Latino audience could get behind, and get behind their champion and give them something to relate to. You guys get what I'm saying here? So that was the same with when people give Triple H did the thing with Booker T. I get it, man. Even as a kid, man, that made me like queasy. I remember that was one of the times in wrestling when Triple H is like, people like you. That made me feel like uncomfortable, and that was the point. Now, when Triple H beat him at Mania 19. I mean, that's a Vince call. That's also egotistical, politicking Triple H. The more disgusting thing he did was like pedigree Booker at Mania and then like crawl over to him for like 7 minutes before pinning him clean. You know, that was the bigger travesty out of all of that. But I'm not saying it's you should do it all, or like I agree with, or I would do it. But what I'm saying is, as an artist, man, you got to search for where that line is, and you got to make people try and feel stuff. That's the whole point of it, right? That's the best TV shows, the best movies, the best songs. They make you feel something, right? So ultimately, the person's idea that AJ said that it was their idea to be like, go back where, and AJ did it. And oh yeah, here. So who was it? Octagon Jr. and Laredo Kid. So there you go. Yeah. So yeah, that was TNA news, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll play a banjo for that.